and more involved into the process metallurgy, so that at least the fraternity of the metallurgy, which is more and core wise, you can see like the process metallurgy is one of the building stage. So these things should be stand with.
Yeah.
So that is what we thought take this initiative.
This is a perennial problem, and also the process metallurgy should come up, considering the major industry in India, there is the steel industry. And right, we have to supply very qualified person there so that they can do day-to-day innovation and all these things. So it is very much required, and unfortunately, we are in a vicious circle because we are not getting good students, and that's why we are not getting supply. And finally, a lot of courses in IITs also, they're more towards the materials. As a result, some of the process extractive metallurgy course are written up by the advanced materials courses. So as a result, people are also getting lots of interest is there in the students also community. So human research development also in this area is getting depleted day by day. Those problems are there. There's really a problem, and we have to revive. And this type of course, that's a very welcome. And we are very glad to give lecture, if you say, in this area. Yeah.
We are trying to take the equal initiative in all the verticals of the metallurgy domain. Either it is process or maybe mechanical metallurgy, maybe physical metallurgy.
No, that's fine. Anything related to the steel, because you are in the Institute University, that is mostly in the steel. So product as well as process, both are very important, right? So all verticals, mechanical, physical, process, very important.
Srivastava, shall we start or shall we wait?
We can wait for 5 minutes for on the.
This is Pradeep Goyal. I'm really glad to see all these eminent professors from various IITs. It's been a long time. I left IIT in 1978. Process metallurgy was one of my favorite subjects. And some of the best teachers I had at that time, Professor Ghosh, Dr. Batra, there was a galaxy of teachers there. And then I had the opportunity to go overseas to learn process metallurgy further. Of course, when I came back, I went into mechanical metallurgy and didn't really stay in process metallurgy. But process metallurgy was always at the core of my my gene. So it's really glad to see that there is a revival in the mindset of people to get back to process metallurgy. It's so crucial for our country. That's what I believe. And
that is really not happening. That's anyway.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Yeah. Yes. Because of anyway. But nowadays we are getting some students interested in process metallurgy.
I think the steel mills and the other process metallurgy companies, Hindustan Zinc and others, will have to step up and support students and give some very attractive offers to students to say that, okay.
That's the thing, because after doing process, because if they go to the industry, and they don't find, especially the IIT BTechs also, because IIT BTechs, they don't find very lucrative these jobs. Neither financially nor very technically challenging. So that is some responsibility on the companies also to make them very challenging work. And obviously the finance is also there. There is the salary also they can think about. But I think they should make the work more technically challenging. I think that is one way industry can retain these good brains from IIT. Because some student, very good student went there, but anyway, after some time they leave. That is also the problem.
Sir, my contention is that the curriculum that we have, I mean, I recall my times.
Right.
And when I went to the US, the BTech programs in many universities were industry-university collaborations. So you did one semester at the campus, the other semester at industry. So that way you learned process metallurgy on the shop floor and you could get interested. I think some sort of change in curriculum at the IITs also needs to be studied to see how can we have a program where you can have more industry interaction rather than just a 2 times summer internship of 2 months in the 3rd and 4th year. That really is not adequate for a student to understand the nitty-gritty of process metallurgy other than what you have learned in class.
That's true. That's true. But in the class also, we are some of the structural metallurgy courses that we have done, number of courses. Now it is also strength to a significant level. We have only there is a core course, only 2 core courses at IIT level. One is called the Principles of Extractive Metallurgy and Iron Making, Steel Making. Otherwise, there is no core course at this level. So those are the problem. And because other courses are there, so because students are also now getting interested to the very exotic materials, and then very advanced characterization techniques are there. But anyway, you can apply everywhere. But people are moving more on the materials, because in case of the process, you don't have the teachers also very less, and also that is another problem. It is a vicious circle, as I said. So those things are there. We are not getting now. Recently, we are trying our best to get good faculty members also, and we have got one, and we are trying to recruit one more. So such that it is reviving to some extent. It is not so gloomy. Now it is reviving. We are trying to revive it, and hopefully we'll be able to revive it in coming few years to come.
Well, I think the faculty members have to get interested first. Because that is how they will motivate the students to work on those projects.
Professor,
they have our interest. I think we are. Good morning. So actually, at our institute, we have a startup now. Which is going to work on the industry academia collaboration, where the faculty members and students both are a part of it, and we will approach together the industries for projects. We are already working with about 3-4 industries here around, and doing good work for them. They have been able to save a lot of money. So this kind of feeling has to spread that the institute can do something for us. Then industry will come forward. Why not? If they have to save money, if they can see the opportunity, then they will be interested. I think faculty members also have to get interested, not only in process metallurgy, but in all related areas, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. There's so much to do. Most of it is electrical and mechanical engineering, improvements part. So, I mean, we can provide the metallurgical fundamentals, but all other support we need for automation from electrical engineering, from mechanical engineering. That's how we are working actually now. So I think faculty members have to get together and approach the industries. That would be a good create a good potential.
Very good morning to one and all.
Good idea. Yeah.
Morning.
Kind attention, please.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. This is Naveen Jindal. Sorry, I got late.
Very good morning, sir.
Haji Patidar Sahab. So please continue with your thing, because I'm going to be in car soon. So please continue your deliberations. I'm able to hear you and see you all very well.
Thank you, sir. A very warm good morning to everyone present here. And my request to all the eminent speakers, kindly keep your audio in the mute mode, and whenever your turn will come, you can make it on. So we are in the process of starting this 5 days faculty development program organizing by OP Jindal University. The chief guest of inaugural ceremony of this 5 days online faculty development program organizing by Jindal University Honorable Chairman JSPL and Chancellor OP Jindal Global University, Shri Naveen Jindal ji. Guest of honor of the function, Dr. D. Kamachi Mudali, Chairman and Chief Executive, Heavy Water Board, Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. Guest of honor, Shri Pradeep Goyal, the Chairman, Long Range Planning Committee, ASM International, USA for India, and also the Founder Chairman and MD of Pradeep Metals. Guest of honor, Dr. Z. Ku Lee, the President, ASM International, USA, and Professor of Materials Science and Engineering at the Pennsylvania State University, USA. Guest of honor, Mr. Prem Arora, Trustee, India, ASM International. My colleagues and man behind this FDP, Dr. Ashok Srivastav, Head Metallurgical and Director Research, OP Jindal University. Distinguished eminent speakers from different esteemed institutions and organizations including Sunburns University, Australia, IIT Mumbai, IIT Chennai, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Roorkee, IIT BHU Varanasi, IIT ISM Dhanbad, IIT Bhubaneswar, NML Jamshedpur, CFIR Bhubaneswar, and JSW Bellary. Dear participants, faculty members, researchers, students, engineers, and everyone present here. It is indeed a pleasure and proud privilege for me to welcome you all on behalf of OP Jindal University, Raigad, in the virtual inaugural ceremony of 5 days FDP on recent advances in process metallurgy in association with ASM International USA and Indian Institute of Metals. OP Jindal University, Raigad, better known as University of Steel Technology and Management, is the only university in India catering the need of steel and power industries. OPJU, sponsored by Jindal Steel and Power Limited, is a multidisciplinary university of choice to develop globally acceptable future leaders and entrepreneurs who can work at multiple levels of responsibilities. University offers UG, PG, and PhD programs across all its schools, that is School of Engineering, School of Management, and School of Science. In a short span of time, since our inception in year 2014, we accomplished a lot and recognized as an emerging as well as most trusted technical university of the country. We are very carefully building the vision of our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Jindal, by developing state-of-the-art laboratories with modern equipment and latest softwares, recruiting well-qualified and globally experienced faculty, establishing multiple centers of excellences, adopting experiential learning by doing teaching pedagogy, designing industry and research-linked curriculum, continuously harnessing international collaborations and tie-ups, promoting research and focusing on career services and skill development of the students. I still remember 7-8 years ago, in the beginning of year 2013, when our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Jindal, he was addressing the gathering at OP Jindal University, and one gentleman asked him, "Sir, why did you open this university in a small town? And why not in a metro city?" He replied that, "Though I am a businessman, but education is not profit for me and my organization, but it is to give back to the society." He gave two reasons behind opening the university in a small town like Raigad. The first was, he said, that it is for providing opportunities and excellent infrastructure facilities and exposure to people who sacrifice in the establishment and growth of Jindal Steel and Power Limited. Second reason, what he said is touches to the heart of all the faculty of OPJU. Secondly, he said that as a medical college, cannot open without hospital, why an engineering college should open without industry? So today, we realize that how strong his vision was. Our location is our biggest strength now, and because of that, we are able to provide real industry exposure through internship, through industrial visit, and through work online, our live projects to the students, and are capable enough to make the university, the students industry ready by getting the benefit of strong ecosystem. The university is located in a small town, a town of population less than 1,000. But the most beautiful thing is this OP Jindal University Raigarh is surrounded by more than 100 small, medium, and large scale industries. And because of that, we have a very good ecosystem with the industry. In addition to creation and dissemination of knowledge through research, engineering and technology institutions also have the responsibility of developing technologies which useful for the mankind, for the society, and for the nation. I proudly say that OP Jindal University is able to fulfill both these purposes. The objective of this faculty development program is to introduce the participants to the process metallurgy and give them an insight into how and where it can be used in a real life. This faculty development program will prove to be an eye-opening milestone for faculty members, beginners, and middle-level researchers and engineers dedicated to metallurgical and materials engineering. The 5-day online FDP programs contains 15 lectures, each day 3 lectures. Each lecture is 1 hour followed by discussion session, and the immediate speakers will deliver these lectures from various IITs, foreign universities, and industry and R&D sectors. The faculty development program will cover all the topic of ferrous and non-ferrous related to process metallurgy, such as extraction of metals using advanced techniques, recent trends in iron and steel making, process modeling and simulation, recovery of metal, and recycling of industrial waste. I strongly believe that this 5-day FDP will create a strong research collaboration with industry, academia, and R&D departments, and the entire participant will depart with acquiring additional knowledge that will certainly help in days to come. Once again, on behalf of OP Jindal University, I welcome all the esteemed eminent speakers for this inaugural session of 5-day program. Now, without taking much of time, I would like to request our Honorable Chairman, sir. I would like to introduce Dr. Mudali Kamachi before his kind address. Dr. U. Kamachi Mudali, he is Chairman and Chief Executive Heavy Water Board, Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. President, Indian Institute of Metals. Dr. Mudali did his PhD in metallurgy at IGCAR MTech from IIT Bombay and MSc in Material Science from PhD College of Technology, Coimbatore. He is a fellow of 10 academics, including 3 from abroad. He has been a visiting scientist at leading institutions in Germany, Japan, UK, France, Israel, Bulgaria, etc. Dr. Mudali is Chairman, Advisory Committee of DAE ICT Centers, Mumbai. He is member of Board of Nuclear Fuel Complex, Hyderabad, Nuclear Recycle Board of BARC, Mumbai, Governing Council of Atomic Energy Education Society, Mumbai, and Expert Advisory Committee of ONGC Energy Center, New Delhi. Now I request Dr. Mudali for his kind address. So over to you, sir.
Very good morning to all of you. Chief guest for the inaugural function of this 5-day Faculty Development Program on Recent Advances in Process Metallurgy, Sri Ratan Jindal ji, Chairman of Jindal Steel and Power Limited, the Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal University, Dr. Patidar, President of ASM International USA, Professor Liu, and other senior functionaries of ASM, Sri Pradeep Goyal ji and Sri Prem Arora ji, Chairman of this FDP program, Director, Professor and Head of Metallurgical Engineering of OP Jindal University, Dr. Ashok Srivastava, distinguished speakers for this FDP program, participants, colleagues from the Indian Institute of Metals, Raigarh Student Chapter, and other special invitees. Indeed, I am really delighted very much to participate in this inaugural function organized by the OP Jindal University in association with the IIM Raigarh Student Chapter and the ASM International for the next 5 days from today 13 to 17, 2020. The OP Jindal University, as it is very well known, located at Raigarh, as it was mentioned by the Vice Chancellor, in a small town, is the India's only premier steel university established under the Jindal Steel and Power Limited with an objective to provide high quality education to the students, particularly located in and around the rural areas. And I'm very proud that they are organizing this important and very useful FTB on process metallurgy. To speak about process metallurgy, it is one of the oldest practice of metallurgy, which starts from the ore dressing process to pyro, hyro, and electrometallurgy technologies. As there is more and more demand for tonnage of metals in both ferrous and non-ferrous categories in the days to come, the years to come, we also need very efficient and economical extraction of metals in an environmentally benign manner from very lean and complex source. That is very, very important, and it is the need of the hour. This has certainly challenged the scientific and technological committee to move over from the traditional way of extraction and opening up new challenges and opportunities in the process metallurgy field with introduction of large number of innovations and advanced R&D. I am aware that in the recent past, there are several technological advances are taking place in the process metallurgy, and it is certainly very appropriate that OP Jindal University took a lead in organizing this faculty development program, which will certainly benefit not only the faculty in India, but also from abroad on the recent advances taking place in metallurgical, process metallurgy particularly. Let me give an example of how important and relevant is understanding this process metallurgy in the ferrous domain. We all know that today India is number 2 in the production of crude steel next to China. And not only that, the government of India has set a very ambitious target of setting up 300 million metric ton steel production capacity by 2031. Now, considering today, somewhere around, maybe this last year we had difficulty, but we have around average of 140 million metric ton production today. We had almost double this to 280 to 300 million metric ton by 2031. And to meet such a huge target set by the government of India, we need a lot of advancement, not only the availability of raw materials, but also the advancement that will take place in process metallurgy of iron and steel. One is for the efficient extraction of iron and economic production of steel. And second is to manage the environment, because if you have higher capacity and enhanced production, there is going to be more and more discharge of liquid, gas, and solid pollutants that will, affect the environment and also subsequently climate change for the future generations. We have to take care of the technology, process metallurgy for efficient extraction and economical production, but also managing the environment in a benign manner. All that is very important when we are looking at the increased production of steel in the next 10 years. In addition to that, we should also consider carefully the choice of energy and the management of energy. You can produce power as much as it is required for the steel production and consume it. But at the same time, you are going to increase the cost, you are going to increase the input that is required for such an enhanced capacity. In another ways, why not we look for the energy that is having much more calorific value than coke, or energy that is ultimate, that we can use for faster, quicker, and high quality production of iron and steel. In this way, I know that today the whole world is looking at hydrogen as one of the greatest source of energy, which is much superior compared to the current sources of any other energy, to utilize in the iron and steel plants for enhanced production and capacity. At this juncture, I feel that organizing this FDP program on recent advances in process metallurgy by O.P. Jindal University is extremely important, and I have no doubt to looking at the who is who in process metallurgy who will be delivering these special lectures on very important topics of high relevance will certainly benefit the participants. On behalf of the Indian Institute of Metals as its national president, I take this opportunity to congratulate the organizers, O.P. Jindal University and their associates, the Indian Institute of Metals Raigarh Student Chapter and the AS International India section, and particularly the Director, Professor and Head of the Department of Metallurgy, Professor Ashok Srivastava, for planning and executing this wonderful online event with excellent speakers of a very appropriate topic. And in this difficult time of pandemic situation, it's really, you need to network and work out a lot for getting people of such eminence to give these talks. I know his dynamic and enthusiastic nature when I came somewhere in November for the international conference organized by Jindal University along with the steel plant, which was an excellent conference that was organized on iron and steel, power and metallurgy. And I have no doubt that this would be another landmark show organized by O.P. Jindal University. So I want to congratulate Professor Ashok Srivastava for initiating and implementing such events of high benefit to metallurgical community. And I have no doubt that under his leadership, O.P. Jindal University metallurgy achievements will grow further in the years to come. It's my proud privilege to thank all the organizers for inviting me to deliver this guest of honor address. And I wish this faculty development program, 5-day program on recent advances in process metallurgy, a grand success. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to give this address. Over to the organizer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mudali, for your insightful information and highlighting the importance of process metallurgy and what are the advancements going on the process metallurgy. I hope all the participants will get benefit by his talk. Now, our Honorable Chairman, sir, is in office. So now I request Honorable Chairman, Shri Naveen Jindal ji, for his kind address.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Dr. Patidar, Dr. Mudali, Mr. Pradeep Goyal, and all the distinguished speakers and all the distinguished guests present here today on this webinar on recent advances in process metallurgy. So I'm not an engineer, but we are very passionate steel makers. So we are always we really enjoy each and every aspect of steel making, and we always drew a lot of inspiration from my father, late Shri O.P. Jindal, in whose memory we made this university over here in Raigarh, Chhattisgarh also, and in Sonipat in Haryana, O.P. Jindal Global University. So my father, even though he never finished high school, but he trained a lot of engineers. He always had a very innovative bent of mind, and he always wanted to innovate. He always, I've seen even our engineers, there are thousands of engineers working in JSPL, but only I've not seen, somebody trying to innovate, experiment, try out new things. So he understood the machinery, and he was really passionate about it. So that's why in his memory, and what Dr. Patidar was saying, that why Raigad, because people who work in steel industry, the engineers who are going to be metallurgists, they are not going to be necessarily, I feel, from big cities. Nowadays, from big cities, students, they want to go into IT, they want to go do some startup. So there are a lot of people who come from steel background, who are very fascinated by manufacture of steel, because steel making is a very, very complex process. When I say complex, it's a complex in a very interesting way. Complex, not the complicated way, but complex in a very interesting way. Like we are in the business of generating electricity also, power also. When we go to our power plants, even say in Raigad, we have a 3,400 megawatt power plants. Maximum discussion is for 2 hours, 3 hours, beyond 4 hours. Not build our power plant. It was a huge investment, and it was also financially those are endless discussions. You can keep on with this. So that's why I say steel. And so we, through OP Jindal University in Chhattisgarh, we want to encourage, and like Dr. Patidar said, in an environment which is surrounded by industries. So these students will have exposure to the industry, to the workings of the industry, and the latest developments that take place in the industry. So these kind of, where, such eminent speakers are going to be speaking. So I think it's a great opportunity for the faculty to learn more, because as a steel producer nowadays, we are also looking at how to do lean chemistry. Lean chemistry, because all the ferroalloys, sometimes sometimes a lot of people add a lot of alloys, a lot of additives, which are very, very expensive, and you can sometimes achieve with much less quantity of these additions, which are very expensive, but through heat treatment, through heat treatment, or through the way they quench steel. So these are very, very interesting subjects, because it's a very competitive world out there. Today, China is producing 55% of the world's steel. Not only producing, but it's also consuming 55% of the world's steel. World is producing almost around 1.8 billion tons, and China is producing more than 900 million tons per annum. So it is, and when we got independence at that time in 1947, we were producing more steel than China. So today, they are world's number one. We are number two, all right, but with a huge difference. And our per capita steel consumption is only around 70 kg per person per annum. So if we want people to have a better quality of life, then definitely everybody should be having, good quality homes, safe homes. Not that there is some cyclone, or there is, like in Odisha, we see all the time, Odisha or the coastal region. Every time there are cyclones, people have to be moved. Sometimes millions of people have to be moved. So I feel that if they had good, strong homes to live in, they would not have to, every time they would not have to move. So these are basic necessities: electricity, house, job, that everyone in India must have, and then only will be able to say that in India people are prosperous, happy, and proud. So there are lots of subjects that you could discuss, and especially now since JSPL, we also have started to make rails. So there are only two companies in India which make railroad rails. One is Steel Authority at Bhilai, and JSPL in Raigad. So just imagine all the rail manufacturing of India takes place in Chhattisgarh. So that's something to be, be proud about and be happy about in Chhattisgarh, that all the rails that you travel on are made in Chhattisgarh. And so now JSPL has also developed already heat treated rails, which are called head hardened rails, 1175, 1080 grade, R260 grade. And there's so much is happening because how to increase the life of rails, how to improve the chemistry of rails. So, and also I can tell you, students who are studying metallurgy or good professors who are good in metallurgy are going to be always very few, because it is a complex subject. Not very many students are going to be taking metallurgy, because somehow to a lot of students it does not seem that exciting. So I also want to say that everything is a question of demand and supply. So once the demand is there for good metallurgists and supply is less, and today also you don't really find very good metallurgists easily. So we have to really find students who have a good flair for it, who have interest in it, and really provide them all the encouragement, so that they pursue this. This is a very, very important field. And this is something that is going to be very, very useful in making, in making India a prosperous country, in achieving like Dr. Modali said, that government has a plan that we should be producing 300 million tons of steel by 2030. So our capacity today is 140 million tons. Production is only around 110 million tons. So I feel, yes, we can reach around 250 million tons or so by 2030. And now with the sentiment being in India, that we don't want to be importing steel. We have to become Atmanirbhar. We have to become self-reliant in steel production, in all grades of steel. There are many grades of steel which India is still importing, which are very difficult to make. So I'm sure you're going to cover all these topics. So I congratulate Dr. Patidar and his team for organizing this. I'd like to thank all of you for taking your time out to contribute to this field that you're all very committed to. So thank you so much. And I wish this conference, this webinar, all the success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words and support, your guidance, blessings. On behalf of OP Jindal University, I can assure you, sir, we will put our best to make this university one of the best university in the country.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your valuable time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now we have with us our guest of honor for this inaugural session, Mr. Pradeep Goyal. So before inviting Mr. Goyal, I would like to introduce Mr. Goyal to all of us. Mr. Pradeep Goyal is founder, chairman, and MD Pradeep Metals. He is also, Pradeep Goyal was brought up in Mumbai in a family with a background of technical and social work. He completed his BTech in metallurgical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1978, graduating with first rank, awarded silver medal by the President of India. IIM awarded him the best metallurgist of the year. He has completed Masters in Metallurgy at MIT, USA in 1980 with a full scholarship. After a small stint of work in USA, returned to India in 1983 to start his company, Pradeep Metals Limited. So on behalf of OP Jindal University, I welcome Mr. Pradeep Goyal and request you for your kind address. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patidar. Namaskar to all. Sri Naveen Jindal, it's great to see you in this program. Fellow panelists in this program, for want of time, I think I will skip naming everyone. Training the trainer has been the core of my life at all times. I do chair an NGO which runs over 100,000 tribal schools. And that is my passion, is that unless the teachers are well trained, the students will be as good as the teacher that is going to teach them. So I compliment the OP Jindal University for taking this initiative in a very, very important subject of training the trainers. India at one time was a leader in iron making. I mean, we all are aware of the great iron pillar, which has been a mystery in this whole world as to why it is not rusting. Some developments have happened in the past on that. But somewhere along the line, as Sri Jindal mentioned, we probably lost the track and we fell behind in our steel making. Technologies have changed in the world. We have adopted technologies that have been developed worldwide. But did we worry about developing technologies here in India? I'm sure if ample opportunities were available to the students who graduated in metallurgy with better financial packages probably or something, I'm sure we would have done a lot more in R&D. So much as I left process metallurgy in 1980 and went into mechanical metallurgy in the forging business for the last 40 years, but the gene of process metallurgy was always in my vein. And in about 2015, I took up process metallurgy once again to see how we can improve some processes with green technologies. So we embarked on a process to manufacture pig iron from ore directly to iron in a microwave furnace. And thanks to my very good and dear friend Manohar Parikar, who was a fellow metallurgist, he encouraged me that he has over 1 billion tons of low-grade iron ore in Goa, which is causing huge environment concern. And he wanted me to work on that to see how we can use that ore and make some valuable product out of that. So we started that in about 2015 with a small sum of money granted to us by the Ministry of Steel. But we have scaled it up to a level which I think can become a sort of revolution in making pig iron. So if you permit me, Dr. Patidar, I'll take 5 to 7 minutes to run a small presentation on what we have done so far in this process.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
I think you removed again.
So we designed a small furnace to manufacture pig iron directly from iron ore. The main idea for initially was to use the iron ore out of Goa, which was low grade 50% iron. And we did some results, and I will share some of the outcome of that results. But what we stumbled upon was the use of magnetite ore from Nagaland, from the Northeast, which most of the companies do not want to use. So we have decided that we are going to work extensively on that, because we found that we are able to get some alloy elements out of that iron ore. So that is the future progress that we are planning to do. So the furnace that we have now, we are going to be improving upon that to redesign, to initially bring an R&D level up to about 100 kg per day of hot metal at a low power cost. So these experiments will be done by using characterization of the raw ore by IMMT in Odisha, and then we will undertake all the work of directly smelting the iron ore into iron. So this is the behavior of materials under microwave conditions. You can see that the rate of heating is just outstanding. It's so fast that you can do these processes in a jiffy, literally. So if you look at the conventional blast furnace process to make iron, and if you look at the microwave process, it just simplifies the whole thing. The beauty of it is that right now we will not be using any coke in the process. We will be using coal and iron ore fines, which are the cheapest available materials that you have. Coal is also required in the fines condition. We don't need lumps of coal. And once we have had those pellets, we are directly smelting in the microwave furnace. And we are getting pig iron, and in some cases, almost a steel kind of metal. So I'll run you through those chemistries shortly. So we decided to start working with a Japanese university called Chubu University. And we got a furnace developed jointly with them with large microwave. So you can see big microwave systems here with klystrons and with regular microwave generators. After doing a lot of experimentation, we disconnected the klystrons and we had a more simplified process to just have magnetrons and a chute to bring the pellets into the furnace for smelting. But what did we learn? We did this for about 3 years and we had a lot of learnings out of that. So initially the temperature was so fast, it was going up very high. So we had to modify the exhaust gas system. Our oxygen content was getting very high. So we installed ratiotrols to connect that. And so we were able to bring it down to less than 1%. The microwave field was not adequate to do the process. So we changed the waveguide designs so that more and more energy could be drawn from the microwaves. It's still not enough. 40 to 50% is still not enough. The ideal is about 70%. So we are on the way, we are getting there. Selection of the crucible material, that's a big challenge. We have been working with various companies to decide what would be the best selection of the crucible materials. We replaced what the Japanese had recommended, which was Morex, and now we have silico aluminum based crucible material, and that's working very well for us. Feeding system was simplified so that the fusion of the pellets doesn't take place in the feeder system. So this is the present modified system, which we still believe that we need a lot of improvement in this before we go to the next stage. This, of course, has been, this furnace has been filed for PTC patents. We have already been granted patents for this furnace in Ukraine, Japan, and Russia. And it's at the advanced stage of approval in several other countries. So I will just run you through, the smelting process that you can see here.
So we are not able to see anything.
You're not seeing the presentation?
No, we have not seen any presentation.
Please make it slideshow. Pradeep sir.
Huh?
Please make it slideshow.
Yeah, I have. It is a slideshow.
You just stop and reshare, please.
Okay. Let me So you didn't see the entire presentation at all?
No. That's why
Pradeep sir, your PPT is not visible.
Okay, one second. Is that on now?
I think we can just see the screen. We cannot see anything.
Please stop and reshare it.
Please reshare it.
Stop sharing and then reshare.
Okay. Is that on now?
No, same thing happened.
It's the same problem. He can be out from the PPT first, and then after that you can say it.
I think you must first open your PPT and then share it. First open it on your screen, then you can see the PPT, then share it.
Okay, let me try that. Just give me one. I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. Yeah. Has it come now? It's open on my desktop.
No issue. I think you may continue now, Pradeep.
Okay. Well, all right. I think it's sad, but you could clearly see.
Goel sir,
Huh.
I think because we did not interrupt you because it was very interesting anyways.
Anyway, that's okay. I'll just talk about it. So anyway, don't bother. I'll send it to somebody who's really interested in knowing more about it.
We are very interested in this. So you please share, because we make obviously pig iron. If you can find us a better way to make pig iron, that would be amazing. Is this going to be cost effective though?
So that's what we are working on, Naveenji. What has happened is right now we are using more energy, and we are not. So we are redesigning the furnace so that the entry of the microwaves is in a different condition, different position, and the flue gases we are able to collect. The scale of the operation right now is also very small. So we have done maybe 10-15 kilograms at a time, but we have recovered everything. The beauty of it is that if we put in 15 kilograms of iron ore pellets, we got 8.5 kilograms of metal. Wow. And the beauty of the metal is that it's so clean that we kept it out for 1 year, Mumbai weather, and it has not rusted at all.
Oh, that's interesting.
The iron has not rusted. So that's why I gave the reference of the iron pillar and said maybe something magical is happening here as to why this is not rusting. And the sulfur and phosphorus contents are very low, and we are recovering. So then we started looking at the magnetite iron ore coming out of Nagaland. And what we realized is that the metal that we got from there was 1.2% carbon instead of 3% that we normally get in a blast furnace pig iron, 3 to 4%. We got 1.2% carbon. We got 1.6% silicon. We got about 1% manganese. We got 5% chrome. We got 1% nickel. And we got about 0.5% of molybdenum. So we recovered every alloy that was there. So when we characterized the ore, we had seen that these are the levels of elements in that. And we recovered almost 100% of the alloys came into the metal. Nothing was left in the ore. Okay. So, and it's a one-stage process. So you are directly smelting iron ore into a sort of steel. I mean, 1.2% carbon you're bringing with all the alloys into the metal. So we have those samples and we shared those samples with the steel ministry and they were absolutely shocked. In fact, Naveenji, your brother came to see this in a conference that I had presented. Sajan came and saw that. And he was absolutely flabbergasted. He said, how do you do that? How did you get that? So, but it's a very interesting thing. We need to go to that level. I have applied to the, of course, mine is a forging company. So I'm not really into the steel and iron making. I've applied to the steel ministry for further funding of this research. And we are waiting for that. So we have actually poured the metal from the furnace. It's not that we did a batch process. It was a continuous process. We were feeding 1 or 2 kilograms of pellets every 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And we were actually pouring iron. It was a continuous process that we have developed. So that was the video that I was trying to show you, but I will send it to you.
Okay, great.
I have no hesitation in sharing that because I believe that technology has to be shared and it has to be for the larger benefit of everybody. And I appeal to all my senior professors here who are in metallurgy in various IITs. First of all, naman to you for we just went through our Guru Purnima day. So my respects to all of you for really training us so well that we still remember some of the stuff that we have learned. Maybe it's 40 years ago, but it's still there. So thank you so much. I really believe that India, if it has to become really a world power, we need to develop new technologies. And these are the areas that we can actually do. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I thank again the organizers for arranging this wonderful Train the Trainer program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep for sparing your valuable time and giving the deep information about the process metallurgy. I think the participants will get benefited from your talk and hope we will be in touch and we'll discuss more about this process metallurgy with you.
I can do a small presentation when students want to come here or something. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now we have with us our guest of honor for this inaugural session, Mr. Prem Arora. He is Trustee India, ASM International Partner of Arora Engineering Company. Mr. Arora, he has done his master's from Kansas State University and done his graduation in mechanical engineering from Bombay University. He is associated with ASM International India chapter from 1986 and worked at various levels from secretary to chairman. He is actively involved in promoting ASM in India, also with his family business since 1981. So on behalf of OP Jindal University, Raigad, I welcome Mr. Prem Arora and request you for your kind address, please. Sir, kindly unmute first. Your audio is muted.
Yeah, good morning to all of you. I presume all of you, I am audible. And to begin with, I would like to thank the OP Jindal College of Engineering for this great opportunity to come here. I would like to thank Mr. Naveen Jindal, Mr. Kamachi Mudalai sir, Mr. Pradeep Goyal, Mr. Patidar, and Dr. Ashok Srivastava, who are all very eminent in this field of process metallurgy. After listening to everyone since morning, I think it is time that we should gather together as industry and the institutes, and come forward and see that we collaborate with each other, because that is the need of the hour. And we need to see that we are together in progressing the progress of steel making in India. And also the other processes which are available for other materials too. It is not only steel, but other materials also which can be done. And as been said by all the panelists earlier, that we have been a country which has been very rich in the production of all these materials. And we have been lacking behind in the years, in the past years, so many years. So it is time that we come forward and regain our own prestige of being the biggest, the largest producing country of materials. I think there is a lot of gap between what we are producing and what is the requirements today also. So I think we should be able to do that and come forward and do it in a more productive way, in a more efficient way, in a more green way. And that is what is the need of the hour. I think that should be enough. I think we have a presentation of our president, ASM International, Dr. Zikui Lee. I think he will be telling us something about what ASM is. And before I end now, that I would like that everyone, ASM and all the other professional bodies that are present, are a good source of networking amongst the industry, the academia, the R&D, and all the big industries too. So we have to get together and see that we can interact with each other and share the knowledge, because that is what all professional bodies are for, sharing and disseminating knowledge. So this is where we need to be together and come forward and be a part of the progress of the country. And I think now we can see the presentation of our president, Dr. Zikui Lee. I think I would request the organizers to please come forward. And I thank them once again for conducting this program, which is of immense value and requirement of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Arora, for your valuable words and highlighting the industry academia interaction. In OP Jindal University, this is our strong point, that the university is surrounded by so many industries and we have a very good ecosystem. What we are doing in OP Jindal University, we made 6-month internship compulsory for all our students. And because of that, students are spending good time in the industry. And the result is around 37% of the internship is now this year converted into the placements. So this is the beauty of the institute industry interaction. And now yes, I request organizer Dr. Srivastav for sharing the video of our guest of honor.
Good morning, dear faculty, scholars, and ASM members in India and across the world. It is my pleasure to speak to all of you from Pennsylvania, the United States of America. On behalf of ASM International, I congratulate you all for the start of the 5-day faculty development program, organized by OP Jindal University and the ASM Indian chapter, led by Dr. Ashok Srivastava. I was told that there are over 500 faculty and students in India and over 50 participants from other countries registered for the event. This is great. Congratulations. As some of you know, I'm a professor at the Pennsylvania State University in the United States. Education has been my passion for decades. You are welcome to visit our university when you come to the United States. ASM International is a premier materials information society and has its headquarters at the Cleveland, Ohio. Here is a YouTube video of the Dome, a historical landmark. Let us play a few seconds of the video. Here is a list of major material societies from the United States. As you can see, ASM International was established in 1913 and has been serving the materials community for the past 107 years. It keeps going strong. ASM International now has 20,000 members, representing over 7,000 organizations for engaging and connecting materials professionals and the organizations to the resource necessary to solve problems, improve outcomes, and advance the society. As the world's largest and most established materials information society, ASM connects you to a global network of peers and provides access to trusted materials information through handbooks, a wide range of databases, education courses, international conferences, webinars, and events. Shown here on the upper right corner is my present coins, highlighting the value of ASM International. And low bottom here is the park of the headquarters. It's a beautiful place. I hope you can visit in the future. And the ASM strategic plan identifies 3 strategic goals. First, the technical excellence. There are front members and the forward members. Second, increase the membership. We provide a home for individuals. And the third one is a strategic partnership and collaborations, so we can make a broad impact to the society. And the ASM strategic plan includes 4 key initiatives. Number 1, develop a digital-first platform. We have converted most of our legacy contents into digital form, including education courses and handbooks. This has positioned ASM well into the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our chapter meetings have also become virtual. In May, India-China chapter organized a very successful chapter seminar with a presenter in Denmark and the participants around the world. Second, create a global professional network. We want to work with professional societies in other countries, including Indian Institute of Metals, that I interacted with during my visit to India last year. Third, establish an interdisciplinary collaboration framework. We want to work with all people who produce and use materials, such as mechanical, aerospace, civil engineers, to better integrate our information with their work. Fourth, cultivate a foundational culture and a practice of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Since everyone is different, we must work together to continue to improve our culture. ASM has just formed the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Awareness Committee, IDEA, to promote the culture and the practice. ASM forms its first Indian chapter 40 years ago. Now ASM has India Chapter Council, one of the 2 chapter councils outside of the United States, with the other one in Canada. There are 7 chapters in India, with the last one being Kanpur chapter, which was approved by the ASM Board of Trustees in May this year. When I was in India last year, I visited the China chapter and had great interactions with ASM members there. Thank them for their great hospitality. Materials Advantage is a student organization from 4 preeminent professional societies: the American Ceramic Society, the American Institute of Steel, Iron and Steel Technology, ASM International, and the TMS. I want to congratulate Dr. Srivastava for opening a materials advanced student chapter at OP Jindal University. I was informed that this is the first chapter in private university institute in India. Congratulations. Lastly, I wish you all a great success of the faculty development program, this 5-day program. And thank you, Dr. Srivastava for leading this effort and for working with ASM Indian chapter. Thank you. Have a good conference.
Thank you, Mr. Arora, for sharing the video message by President of ASM. And on behalf of OP Jindal University, we express our sincere gratitude towards Dr. G.K. Louis, President ASM International, for his message and highlighting the activities of ASM. I would like to share to all the distinguished, eminent professors, speakers, that OP Jindal University, Raigad, we opened the first chapter in India, student chapter, ASM student chapter. Now, I think we are already 10 minutes late. So now I request my colleague, my friend, Dr. Ashok Srivastava, Head Metallurgical Engineering Department, and also Director of R&D, OP Jindal University, Raigad, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patidar, for handing over me. A warm and graceful morning to our most valued Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Naveen Jindal, Chairman, Jindal Steel and Power Limited, special invitee, distinguished speaker, organizing committee, participants from all across India and abroad, my dear friends, and everyone gathered online here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this faculty development program happen. I, Dr. Ashok Srivastava, take this wonderful opportunity on behalf of the Department of Metallurgical Engineering and also on behalf of the OP Jindal University to thank all the dignitaries for gracing this inaugural function. It has been a great pleasure to host online all the enthusiastic dignitaries and participants of the inaugural function. Glad to see the fabulous response for the FDP by having more than 550 participants from all across the India and more than 70 participants from the abroad. Thanks to each and everyone, and I am sure the FDP will definitely provide the knowledge you all are looking for. I would like to sincerely thank our beloved Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Naveen Jindal, Chairman, Jindal Steel and Power Limited, for taking time off from his hectic schedule to be with us today and gracing with his presence in the inaugural function. Special thanks to guest of honors, Dr. Kamachi Mudali, President ASM, President Indian Institute of Metals, Mr. Pradeep Goel, Chairman Long Range Planning Committee, ASM International USA, for their kind acceptance and presence in the inaugural function. I'm also thankful to Dr. G. Liu, President ASM International USA, for his kind video message, and thanks to Mr. Prem Arora, Trustee ASM International USA, for playing the video message on behalf of the ASM President to us. I take this opportunity to thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. R.D. Patidar, for his continuous support and motivation. My special thanks to all the distinguished speakers of the FDP for accepting our invitation to share their expertise in the process metallurgy domain. Before I am done, let me in conclusion express my profound gratitude also to all the members of the ASM International USA, Indian Institute of Metals, Material Advantage USA chapter at OP Jindal University, and Society of Metallurgical Engineers of OP Jindal University, who have worked so hard and tirelessly to make this FDP a grand success. Last but not least, many thanks to my metallurgy family faculty and staff for all kind of their hard work in organizing this FDP and making it a grand success. Particularly the effort of Dr. Tirinath, Professor Ijar Hussain and Dr. Fani is extremely good. Thanks to all, hoping the participants will be enriched with all kind of knowledge they were expecting as outcome of this grand FDP. Thank you very much. All the very best. All the very best. Jai Hind. With this word, I am handing over to Dr. Patidar.
Thank you, Dr. Srivastava. Once again, on behalf of university, I express my sincere gratitude and thanks to all the speakers of today's function. And now I think there is a 15 minutes gap, and then we will start our first session for today's FDP. So now we are closing this inaugural ceremony. Thanks once again to one and all present here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Patidar, Dr. Patidar. Thank you very much, everybody.
And,
Thank you so much.
Well, sir, please share your PPT to us.
I will send it. I will send it to you. No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Patidar and Ashok ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence.